And we are back. Yes, we are. Roll up, everybody gather, come and join. One man went to mow. Yes, we are back. So the session again. So you join us again. So I am here. Where are you? One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Only water. Only water. Where they see my water. Hapa you don't come oh. Oh night oh. Water, only water where they see my water. Oh yes, water. Only water where they see my Hapa oh night oh. Hapa oh night oh. Hapa you don't come oh. Hapa oh night oh. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́. Chief Wáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòdò jàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dòdò. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ lọ́sọ̀dá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ lọ́sọ̀dúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní rí wa gbéṣe o.
And there we are. Iku Koni Riwagbeshe, the powerful care guides. So Iku Koni Riwagbeshe, as guys, I bring you this. Breaking, court strikes out 2 billion naira Sahara. Sorry, hold on. Breaking, court strikes out 2 billion naira suit against Sahara reporters, others, over alleged defamation of Buhari's minister Malami. So we've played severally that video clip of Malami corruption charges, etc. I could play it again, but we've played it severally, where Sahara reporters went and did this expose. They went around the world and they were showing where Malami was building all these vast estates, shopping malls, hotels, etc. Just since he came into a situation as the Minister of Justice in 2015. Estate after shopping mall, after mansion, after mansion, after mansion, after mansion, all over the country, Dubai, everywhere. So quite where this guy was getting the money from was the question that was being asked by that expose. And they tracked it, of course, to all of the corruptions that this guy has been perpetrating since he came into situation. Feeling miffed, Malami then went via one of his proxy justice set up organizations that he sets up to fight his wars within the Nigerian space. So they instituted a defamatory lawsuit against the Sahara reporters and by extension, Omoyele Sowore. So the verdict now in breaking, court strikes out 2 billion naira suit against Sahara reporters, others, over allegation of over alleged defamation of Buhari's Minister Malami. So quite what went down there, we'll find out shortly. I acquired 9.7 billion naira assets from my travel allowance. Ex-Air Force Chief DIKKO UMAR tells court. So there you are. This is the thing, though. Remember when they caught the other one, what is his name? The Chief of Army Staff that was buying estates up in Dubai. The Chief of Army Staff was buying estates up in Dubai, and they asked him where he got all these monies that he was using to buy mansions for himself and his wife in Dubai. And he told us that then it was from his savings and bank loan. This is what the guy did. He was able to acquire vast estates in Dubai from his savings and loans. This is it. But this one now is telling us his travel allowance. So they don't even make especially an effort, you know, to deny these corrupt practices. This essentially just tells you that, so I stole it, so what? This is what this means. I acquired 9.7 billion naira assets from my travel allowance. Ex-Air Force Chief DIKKO UMAR tells court. So just how generous that travel allowance is, more than the total package of the American president. We'll find out soon enough. NSAS, why I shelved Lagos peace walk. Sanwo Olu. So when this peace walk idea broke, I came on here to tell you that this is probably the most foolish thing that this guy has yet done. Sanwo Olu, that is, and he has done a lot of foolish things since he came into situation. But this by far the most foolish things. So it's like wearing ridiculous outfits and going in public and asking people to point and laugh at you. So he invites all these celebrities that are left of center, anti-Buhari, anti-what happened in SARS, that are fighting in that space. He's now inviting them, haven't just the previous day poo-pooed the white paper, the probe panel report. He's now inviting left of center celebrities to come and peace walk with him. So it's just set himself up for a beating, and he got a thorough beating. Beating now to surrender. Why I shelved Lagos peace walk. Sanwo Olu comes now explaining the ludicrous. So what ludicrous explanation he has for a ridiculous idea, we'll find out soon enough. All of that to come, but before anything comes, let's come in via the northern quarters this time around to Laraba and Mukhtar and their bookies.
masoya ba. Ba a yi Tinubu a kwazo ba.
Ni ce ta bani bugun garuwa.
And there we are, Tinubu Agbajoba. So that is what the advocates will have you have be the case, Tinubu Agbajoba. So Tinubu Agbajoba, as guys, I bring you this. Court strikes out 2 billion naira lawsuit against Sahara reporters, orders over alleged defamation of Buhari's minister. Malami. The Federal High Court in Abuja has struck out a 2 billion naira lawsuit instituted against Sahara reporters and others for alleged. So bear with me one moment. I'm just hearing some echo back. So let me just sort out the gremlins in the background. Yeah, that's that. Just give me one quick second, and then we'll start that all over again. Just a bit of feedback from my end, and it's just a bit off-putting. And there we are. Okay, so back to it. The Federal High Court in Abuja has struck out a 2 billion naira lawsuit instituted against Sahara reporters and others for alleged defamatory publication against the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. A group, Incorporated Trustee of Global Integrity Crusade Network, had in the suit accused Sahara reporters, Vanguard Media Limited, and 2 others of defamation against Malami. Joined in the suit are Omoyele Sowore and Barrister Kabiru Akingbolu. The group had prayed the court to compel the defendants to jointly pay Malami the 2 billion as compensation for trauma, emotional stress, damage, and/or injury caused the AGF due to the alleged propaganda, fake news, and blackmail published in the July 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 18, 2020 edition of their media organization. During the trial held on Thursday, the court dismissed the case. In his judgment, Justice Obiara Aguatu awarded 100,000 naira against the litigants, saying they have no right to approach the Federal High Court to sue on behalf of the AGF. The judge held that the AGF should be bold enough to go to court if he felt he was libeled by the newspapers. The lawsuit was prosecuted by Marshal Abubakar of Femi Falana Chambers. So there you have it. I think we've actually played that clip before, that Sahara reporters went round the entirety of Nigeria, showing all of the vast estates that this guy, Abubakar Malami, was building and buying from the proceeds of looting. So he has now used one of his armories, this organization that he set up, to institute a lawsuit, thinking that the weight of his office will strong arm the law in his favor. But alas, we still seem to have some remnants, some crumbs of justice in Nigeria. So they slap him down. So by slapping down now this defamatory lawsuit that was instituted for accusing Abubakar Malami of corruption, does that then by extension then confirm that Abubakar Malami is corrupt? Although nobody needs any confirmation, you only have to pick up a newspaper. The guy, I acquired 9.7 billion naira assets from my travel allowance, ex-Air Force Chief DIKKO UMAR tells court. Former Chief of Air Force Mohammed DIKKO UMAR has disclosed his travel allowance as the source of the 9.7 billion naira assets being investigated by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Mr. Umar made a statement on Wednesday whilst fielding questions from the prosecution counsel, Sylvanus Tahir, at the Federal High Court, Abuja. I have served this country for 36 years, and in those 36 years, I served in the presidential fleet for 7 years. Mr. UMAR said, "Most of my savings are from during that period that I was on the presidential fleet. Most of my trips were external trips outside the country," the Air Chief said. Mr. UMAR had been arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on charges bordering on money laundering, criminal breach of trust and corruption to the tune of 9.7 billion naira. Mr. UMAR was first arraigned in January 2017 on a 7-count charge of money laundering and procurement fraud to totaling 4.8 billion naira before the presiding judge dismissed 6 out of the 7 counts in a ruling on Mr. Umar's non-case submission in February. The EFCC, in the original 7-count charge, had accused him of diverting over 4.8 billion naira from the Nigerian Air Force account within 24 months and using the funds to buy personal property in choice areas. The matter has been adjourned to March the 1st, 2022 by Justice Nandi Dimgba for the prosecution and defense counsel to adopt their final written address. So there you are, the guy now, just from his savings, so he's able to buy houses in Victoria Island, Dubai, Maitama, everywhere else in between. This is what he's telling us, but then it's just incidental that it was a chief of, what chief was he? One of the chiefs of whatever it was. It's just incidental that it was the chief of air staff, chief of air forces. So there you are. You know, it's a recurring decimal, a story that will never change. Why I shelved Lagos Peace Walk, Sanwo Olu. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has explained that he shelved the Lagos Peace Walk planned for this month to prevent the spread of the new Omicron COVID-19 variant, which has been recorded in Nigeria. The governor, in an address on November the 30th, 2021, had invited some known faces of the EndSARS protest in the state in October 2020 to a peace walk for the healing of Lagos this December. Those invited included Folarin Falana Falz, Debo Adebayo, Mr. Macaroni, Dele Farotimi, Temitope Majekodunmi, Segun Awosanya Shega Link, Adedotun Just Dotun, and Seun Kuti, Commissioner of Police Hakeem Odumosu, and Commander of Rapid Response Squad CSP Yinka Egbe Yemi, amongst others. But Falz, Mr. Macaroni, the younger Kuti, amongst some arrowheads of the protest, had rejected the invitation, saying there must be justice for EndSARS victims before there can be peace. This is as some other youth groups declared support for the governor, saying they would work with him. However, in a statement on Thursday, Sanwo-Olu said he is constrained to stand down all preparations for the work for peace so as not to endanger the life of any Lagosian amidst the outbreak of the Omicron C19 variant. The Omicron variant, first detected in South Africa, has been confirmed in over 50 countries, including Nigeria, though no associated death has been recorded globally. Many countries, including the United Kingdom, the United States, and the European nations, have since slammed travel restrictions on African countries, a move that has been widely criticized as discriminatory. Let's have a look. So this is a Sanwo-Olu speech. Since my last address to you, the good people of Lagos State, on Tuesday, the 30th November 2021, during which I expressed a desire to lead a work for peace following the outcome of the work of the Judicial Panel on Restitution for Victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters, I have been inundated with deep expressions of solidarity from various groups and people declaring their readiness to join me on the symbolic walk. Indeed, I owe a special debt of gratitude to our youth and students who reached out to either members of my team or directly to me, expressing their readiness to join me on the planned Walk for Peace. They include many of our civil society leaders, business leaders within and outside of corporate Lagos, religious leaders, members of the diplomatic community, entertainers, market associations, trade associations, and women groups who have committed time and resources to preparing for the peace walk. I thank you all. When the unseen enemy called C-19 began to ravage the world and indeed our nation, I assumed the role of the incident commander in our quest to protect the lives of our people. We subjected ourselves to the dictates of science. We chose to be guided not by our emotions, but by expert opinions rooted in science. Between Tuesday, the 30th November 2021, that I made my address and now, we have seen a significant rise in cases associated with the Omicron variant of this pandemic. Given this development, I am constrained to stand down all preparations for the work for peace. I will not endanger the life of any Lagosian. I will not endanger the life of any Lagosian in my sincere search for peace. I am overwhelmed by the outpour of support the initiative received from far and near. The deluge of support is, however, indicative of one thing. Our people know the strategic place of peace to our quest for development. So there is Sanwo Olu just making a quick exit from that space. I look forward to engaging with you as we together work for peace. So that is Sanwo Olu now, just a nice little window provided by the Omicron what's it, but nevertheless, you know, boju. So Janle Koko, I see you. X0, I see you. So to you, X0, what are you making then of this Sanwo Olu eating humble pie?
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. I'm at work.
Yes, we can. Yes, and we can hear that you're at work too, because we can, we hear the clankings.
Yeah. So bear with me. Well, Sanwo Olu has just once again proven to be as dense as his principal or his godfather, because everyone knew that he was moving away from the beginning. I don't know where he got the epiphany from to suddenly backtrack and call off the work for peace. But the question is, peace for what? What peace? Was there war? Were we fighting? Who is it making peace with? What
you're dipping in and out somewhat.
Am I clear now? Am I clear?
You know, you're a lot clearer now. Yeah, much clearer.
Okay, good. I think I was saying the question should be peace for what? Like the Mr. Macaronis and the likes told him before. Peace for what?
Peace from the noise making now, from you rowdy youths.
What noise making?
You rowdy youths now. You're messing up. You're making the place untidy.
Yes, that's the problem, because he wants to get closure in his mind. He thinks.
No, you dip in and out. You're gone again.
Am I still dipping in?
No. You're back now. But yeah.
Okay, maybe because I was far from the. I think you're not. I'm not. The thing is not using my speaker with the.
All right.
But you can bear with me. So
no, carry on.
The question is peace for what? There was no war. What the youth actually asked was for the country to be made better, for the betterment of everyone. That's what they asked for. You yourself, you know this. if you now kill them with bullets, and now you want to unkill
Yeah, but
them.
what Sanwo Olu is saying to do them is essentially, I am not the enemy. And
Yeah,
really, there's
exactly.
an argument there that Sanwo Olu personally, and the Lagos State government, they are not really the enemy. The enemy is more like a federal space, isn't it?
Yeah, but you see, that is what the youths are trying to fix. You see, a state government should have the power to fix his state. If you don't have the power, then the system is wrong. You understand? The system is wrong. The state government should be able to say, okay, this is my own space. I should be able to handle things here. But if you cannot, then what the youths are asking for is right. We must fix the country. A state governor should be able to answer for things that happen within his space. If the military come in and shoot the youths, who authorized? Because the state governor should know. So you cannot not give us justice and not answer our questions, and all of a sudden try to understand and try to make peace. Peace with what? You have not accepted that you are in the wrong. You know?
Do you think it's time for all these youths to know their place in society? All this noise making? You don't even talk back to your elders, do you? It's not African, is it?
You are trying to play the devil's advocate. So
No. But no, there's too much rowdiness now from that demography, making noise all the time.
But what the youth asked for was for instance, the police force to be well catered for, right? Do you think the way the police is harassing everybody and killing people summarily and taxing people and extorting from people, do you think that's the normal way to run a police force?
Well, no, but that's always been the way in Nigeria.
And then since you, who are the elders, have not been able to rise up and do that for us, do you think it's above our pay grade to do that for ourselves?
No, but in an orderly fashion. In an orderly fashion.
What is
not constituting a nuisance to society?
No. Since the existence of Nigeria, that protest, the EndSARS protest, was and still is the most.
So when children are asking for their right, they are constituting this as
no, they are making the place. They are making the place look untidy. They are making the place look untidy. Don't make the place look untidy.
You're coming with your wahala again. No, it's too early.
No,
we just woke up in America, one man.
I told you this before, one man. You would like to play the devil's advocate. It's fine because there's no government official to speak to us. Even when there's a government official to speak to us, they lie white lies and they tell us open hollow stories that don't make any sense. There's nothing to defend about what the government did. You killed the youth with guns, and now you don't want to kill them with Omicron, like you give with them. You should just quit that bullshit. The truth is, the people
that Omicron, it came as a ready time for him, didn't he? So because obviously he was being embarrassed in that space. So that just gave him a quick little exit window to run away, you know?
Exactly, you know, if you tie this to what I said one time about Buhari and the Igbo elders going to meet Buhari to release Nnamdi Kanu, they're just giving him an escape because this man has committed crimes. The same thing in Lagos State. If they don't tell us who gave the orders to shoot, let that case remain like that until there comes a time when we will start to fish them out like the Israelis went after the war criminals who killed the Jews. These people are going to be paid. They're going to pay back. They are either going to live in exile. And look at the kind of people in this government, for goodness sake. Look at the kind of people in this government. They are just collaborators. There's no.
I think this has to be the worst constructed government in terms of the people, the composition of it. There's just maybe one or two. There are no quality people in government, and we rarely have this because we always have at least maybe 30, 35, maybe 40% quality people in government. But in this particular administration, maybe just 5% quality.
0%, 0%.
0%. You know, these people are they didn't come with any program or any plan. All they came for was
and they don't have the brain function to then have that Even if you say you want to assess the thing and then know how to address it, they've not. They're just a brainless bunch, you know.
They don't, you know. They don't. They just came to take power, you know. And Nigerians, trust Nigerians, they know how to put the blame on somebody so that they can have an easy escape. Buhari is going to take the blame for everybody, and then when the time comes, he's going to have dissonance. He's going to have dementia all of a sudden. Cannot recollect.
Yes, but that's the perfect. You see, they say there's no such thing as the perfect crime, but what is being committed against the Nigerian state as we speak now, since 2015 till date, is the perfect crime.
Oh,
they are all committing that crime under the head and the name of a guy that is at his last bus stop.
Yes.
So when you go after Buhari, what are you going to do with him? You only end up carrying his medication bills now. That's all you end up doing. That's you just take over the responsibility of his medication now. What will you do with him?
This guy is at his last hour.
Yeah, and they are all putting it under him. So this is the perfect crime now. They all walk away after it. Yeah.
Look at the likes. Look at the people. Fantami, the Malami'S. Look at that Malami. Lacks every scintilla of moral toga, and is the one telling us this bullshit about Sowore's company did this and did that. Somebody who could equate cattle rearers who invade people's farms, equate them with businessmen who import spare parts. Tag them Igbo traders, Igbo spare part dealers. If you touch our cattle rearers, you touch us. And this is a lawyer.
But it's the same size economy, to be fair. The cattle rearers and the Igbos is the same size economies.
No. It's not the same. It's not the same. You know, these are private businesses. A cattle rearer is a private businessman.
One man, you are talking like Malami now.
Yes, I say he's playing
no, now we have to have balance now. We can't just let X0 run away with it.
So you try to punch a zero this morning.
No, you can't you don't get a free ride now. He knows. You get a free ride though.
I know he's trying to play the devil's advocate, but it doesn't. There's no way, you know. It's just like what's his name again? Another idiot in this. Sorry to use that word. But another one of them, Lai Mohammed, that's going to come out and defend the indefensible. Even this Sanwo Olu that is calling out this work for this excuse of Omicron, did he accept the panel report? No. You see, despite the fact that panel report was done in his state and it was done fairly, at the end of the day, the pressure.
But to be fair though, he did accept the panel report. There was only one item out of all of the recommendations of the panel that he did not accept wholly and equivalent, and that was, of course, the biggest one. But wholly accepted it, except for one item.
I think Sanwo Olu should just come out plain and tell us that, listen, the problem with this administration, this government, is Buhari. They are telling me they're going to take power from me. They're going to make my life miserable if I come out straight. There's no sincere person. No, everybody is.
But what are the chances of that ever happening? And where has that ever happened in the world? For a sitting governor to come and say, look, the problem is the president.
It will happen if the person is relevance. If that person is not himself a relevance seeker, you know, these guys are just trying to keep themselves relevant. And that I ask myself, that's why I say they are not ready. You are not ready to tell yourself the truth if you are not ready to give up avarice and vanity, because you can never need anything anymore.
Would you concede that opinion you are expressing is somewhat naive?
Well, yeah, I can tell you that somewhat naive, but then again, there are people who have the moral toga to let go of power.
There's nobody that has the moral toga to let go of power. There's nobody.
Are you sure?
Yeah, have you ever tasted power? Who would they let go of? Look at this guy.
In my own little way, because look, I'll tell you something.
You know what power is? Well, you know, in Africa, you're almost like a god. With power, you're a governor. You're almost like a god. Have you seen the way I've seen them senior civil servants kneeling down for Fayoshe You want to give that up because of moral toga. What I moral toga?
My dear,
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Particularly
Moral
when
toga.
they are when his party is when his party is controlling the center.
Wow. You know that sort of power?
Yeah.
When you travel a fleet of about 50 cars and when everybody on the floor, you won't give all that because of moral what? Yeah, you must be joking.
No, I will give it up.
Of course you will.
I will give it up because at the end of the day, what matters most is where my soul lands. I cannot understand, for heaven's sake, unless a person is a psychopath, that at the age of this Buhari and the likes of Tinubu, they still hold on to these things. Where do they think they're heading to? How many years more do they think they have? I don't understand. If people at this age,
just to speak to what you are speaking to, because I've often speculated too that thinking as well that what more do these people want? Somebody like Buhari or even Tinubu, but more so somebody. But what else does he want? And I've come to the conclusion that he has to do that in order to cling on to life. Because, if they don't have something doing or something of relevance doing, they will just vegetate away and fade away. So it's probably this thing that is even keeping him alive in more ways than one.
You might be right, you might be right. Because I can't seem to lay my hands on any other reason why these guys, at their old and dilapidated age, will still want to cling on to power. I can't seem to lay my hands on any other reason other than this is what gives them a kick. This is where they get their life from. Without power, they will be useless. Because as I see him,
another reason is greed and.
But what would an 80-something-year-old man be greedy for? Greed.
Yeah, power.
For
power.
Yeah, but
power.
What for?
Greed
what for? To build a future for himself? No, hold on.
Exactly.
Somebody at 82, 83. What greed? Because greed is a projection to the future now, that if I get this, then I will do that. So what greed should an 83-year-old man still be having? Greed for what?
Control,
to achieve what?
Power, control
for its own sake, Abi.
Of power. Yeah, people love to be in charge of power. That one is natural. And now come to see somebody that have tasted it before. Buhari case, he has tasted it before at different levels. As commissioner of petroleum, as military head of state, they know the nitty-gritty of power. They know when you have that power, you are like God in Nigeria. So Tinubu in his own case, as the governor of Lagos State is just like mini Nigeria, the 7th largest economy. So they have tasted it, they have used it to acquire, so much wealth illegally. And, it's being there alone by yourself, being there, it gives them joy, because they derive joy and they derive happiness, being in power, controlling other people. So that is the psychology.
Yes.
One man. Yeah. Let me correct something. Tinubu is not 80 years. He's 69 years old.
No. Buhari is 80 something. Tinubu, of course, is 75, 76.
That means Tinubu is the same age as Charlie Boy.
Look at that.
I tell you. Yeah, that was
it's almost impossible to believe. Just what you said, X0. It's almost impossible to believe that Charlie Boy is that age,
I'm telling you.
It looks as though he can still take your girlfriend off you, The way it looks,
the man has good body.
He has good genes,
You know what? Yeah. Just to be scientifically correct, Charlie Boy himself once said on TV and in newspapers that he can no longer perform.
Oh, right. Well, that's a different matter, isn't it? It's all the abuse now, all that lifestyle.
That reminds me, that brings to mind what Tinubu's wife.
Charlie Boy is 70 years old.
Yes. You look at him now. Look at him now. It looks as though he can still take anybody's girlfriend off there. Yeah. Unbelievable.
So the likes of Tinubu's wife, who is clamoring for his presidency to be first lady. I mean, that woman needs to be checked. I'm suspecting that woman has several boyfriends.
What is your business with that? Do you want to join the list? You look at this guy. You want to become a gigolo? What are you talking about? What if she has boyfriend? What is your business with that one? Are you applying?
That's her personal lifestyle. So it doesn't concern anybody.
What would you know? What do you think? Do you think Tinubu is still of any use to her? Tinubu is as useful to his wife as Buhari is to Aisha. You know, it's just by name now. It's just
even the likes of Fanika Ere cannot even perform. Talk of Tinubu, who is as old as.
How do you know that? This is how you spread ugly rumors. So how do you know that?
I thought you were going to bring that issue up here.
Why do you know that one? Look at this man.
It came from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, the mission today.
They spoke about artificial insemination and all.
In fact, that guy is a laughing stock, now.
I say, one man, if something has not happened to you, you will not see. Your secret, once you have issue with some people, your secret you've told them for many years will begin to come to the limelight. That's just that.
Just on that space, you have to be mindful the sort of people you share your innermost thoughts with. Because if you share your innermost thoughts with people, you weaponize them against you. So outside of your wife, you shouldn't really be talking loosely with anybody. Even with your wife now, we see with Fanikayode. Okay, who are we with? Back to you,
Exira. Yes. I was saying, so the likes of Tinubu's wife, I cannot fathom that Tinubu will become president and that woman will not do her evil deeds on that country. Stash our countries, our money to several banks and enjoy ourselves with our boyfriends.
What's the big deal? Is this not? Did Turaya Yar'Adua not do it, and the Abata wife, all of them, Mariam even. Was Mariam not dating Bongo Sikwe when she was married to Babangida? Was she not dating Bongo Sikwe?
She denied it. Bongo Sikwe itself denied it. Bongo Sikwe
come back.
Oh, Mariama, hi darling, Mariama. You don't know. We know now. We know.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. These guys will not kill you. A body of people who come for They say you can perform as much as you can perform with your wife. You cannot. That's why Buhari cannot perform because at that age you cannot even do anything with his wife. Not to talk of do something for the country. A bunch of dead people. They are living dead. Buhari, Tinubu.
All right. Thank you, Exiro.
No, I'm surprised you didn't bring that Fanika idea up today. I thought you were going to.
No, we discussed it at length the other day. Even Alexander sent me a clip of his wife doing an interview, mocking him all over social media. She actually went on some guide doing a full-on interview. I know
that guy.
Fanika, you see, you seem to be enjoying that too much. Wait till be your own. But let me acknowledge Alexander's super chat and then I'll move you on to another talking point. So this is Alexander speaking to the space. It says, good morning, folks. Has Mike's assertion per the infrastructural developments been verified? Yes, respond. Confirms the confidence in him by president. So I don't know what the other half means, but yes, Mike's assertions has been confirmed. And Mike sent me almost 7 clips of him driving through those roads that he said have been reconstructed and are fit for purpose. So he sent me. In fact, if I go into my Instagram now, he sent me clips after clips after clips of himself driving on those roads. So what he narrated, he has confirmed with his own video evidence. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, Alexander. So let's go on then to, you were speaking about Abubakar Malami. He, of course, a notorious looter, which he was summarily accused of by Sowore via his media outlet. He went to court, instituted a 2 billion naira suit, and the court threw that lawsuit out of court and awarded Sowore 100,000 naira for having his time wasted. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
Yeah. So that judgment then is that then the affirmation, confirmation that indeed now we can categorically say that Abubakar Malami is a looter.
No, but there are many other ways we can confirm. We confirmed a long time ago. This is just a reaffirmation that this man is a bloody criminal. You know, Buhari succeeded in bringing in the worst of the worst to fill up positions in this government. Like we were saying, this is not a government. This is just people who came to steal power, and to retain that power, they have to show put up a show of force of some kind, you know. And these guys are the people who are the instruments Buhari is using, you know. So I don't think Sowore is it's not well appreciated in this country. This is not the first time Sowore is winning a case of defamation or libel in courts. This is the often time. In fact, when his write-ups are written, he always comes up and says, "No, this is a." Sorry, my boss is coming. Just let him pass.
All right. Okay. Do you want me to give you a...
I'm with you.
Okay, carry on. Look at that. The lies we live.
Yeah, so that always gives us the real
This guy is listening to the show at work so that he can pretend not to be at work and just taking it easy. You're not taking it easy at work. Don't worry, to make the time go. Carry on.
This is what you do.
No, people play radio in the background. Yeah, carry on. Yeah,
it's because you don't. When I'm not here, I seem to feel like there's something missing in your show because I have to keep the balance. Otherwise, I just hear.
You have to keep an eye on me so that I don't get that wayward. I don't get carried away. You have to come and you have to come and police me. Oh yeah, carry on.
Sanwo Olu to you.
This is Officer X0.
He has to use that machete, that cutlass.
Yes, you want to be sparking cutlass on the floor, eh? What is that culture in the East anyway that you spark cutlass on the floor? What are you people the way you are?
It's to tell you that I am ready. Let the ground know that I am ready.
So that you will see and run away.
You see now, he says the culture in the East. You have forgotten that it's Alegogo style. All this
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
So as we were saying, I was saying,
it's like when you witness a fight on the streets of Lagos. Oftentimes, I will wound you. They will do that for 5 minutes, waiting for somebody to come in the middle. But nobody will throw the first punch. But if you hear them from a distance, you think blood on the streets. I will wound you. But sorry, X0, carry on.
Yeah. So I was speaking on which issue of it? This Malami, right?
Yeah, Malami losing his defamation. Defamation.
So Malami, we all know a change of government and the right government to deal with this kind of people. That is why a Tinubu government is not preferable, because just imagine Tinubu chasing Malami. You know that's impossible. Tinubu will not go for these guys. That's why some people that's why people are clamoring for a real change.
If anybody in APC wins the next election, then that means this administration gets away with all the lootings and all the killings. That's just it. Yeah.
Yes, and I have never seen a new administration overlapping one administration to chase the past administration, maybe two tenors behind. It's never happened.
No, because there will be new atrocities and a new.
There are new things to put.
All right, X0, we seem to.
They always probe the immediate past. They never probe further than one administration, you know? So that is why it seems to me that the Tinubu administration is never going to work for us. it is never going to help us, and we don't want such. What we want to see.
Okay. What realistically would work for us? Because you know, say Sowore and all this sort of nonsense is just a nonsense, isn't it? So, what realistically can work for us?
Honestly, if I tell you sometimes that I'm not angry at the fact that Nigerians seem to be calculating against our own future, I'll be lying. Nigerians seem to be their own problem.
Right.
You all should believe that it's one man, one vote.
Right.
Go against the tides. Look at what we have. APC, PDP is not it. You know this, but you will refuse.
But what is in play? What is in play for 2023, which is more or less just a year away? So we have only a 12-month window now. So are you saying something new will come in 12 months that will change?
That is the question. Once I saw this, the central bank guy, the former deputy chairman of the central bank, I once saw his campaign in the north, and I thought it was beautiful, and I thought that was a beautiful place to start from. You know, once you can get, because look at what Tinubu's guys did now. That is so beautiful. Look at them singing Tinubu's name in the north now. Look at that. Yes. That is to show you somebody who knows how to take power. That's something you should learn from him. It's a person who is strategic. They're already singing his praises, and this is a northern music that people will be listening to. They say even if you don't like Tinubu, you will hear that name.
You know that if Tinubu comes in 2023, which is likely, or even Atiku, that then resets back whichever generation that thinks is in play now. Whichever generation thinks it is in play now, their generation is then out to then cascade back to, so whoever is 35, 40 in 8 years, what is 2023 plus 8? So that'll be 20, 31, 32. Whoever is 35, 40 in 20, 31, 32.
When it's out.
Yes, will be the person that is in play then. So when Tinubu comes in, the people in their from 35 onwards, they're out.
They are gone, yeah.
Yes, they're out. Because it's going to take 8 years, and your 35-year-old will be what, 43, 45 by the time Tinubu is done with government. So you are out. You know, so you know, so the new language then will be the old language of before. It doesn't really change. It's essentially what I'm saying.
But you know, there's something that's likely to happen.
No, X0, we struggle to hear you, you know, but
Sorry, was my boss talking to me. So there's something I want to understand, that there could be a change of everything, because Tinubu will not last more than.
Oh no, X0, we can't hear you.
We struggle. You can't hear me?
Yeah.
Tinubu will not last more than Buhari. Tinubu might likely die in office.
There's a good chance.
Yeah, there's a good chance. And then that leaves us with the young breeds of criminals that he has with him. And that I see, that is where the problem will now start. Because then once Tinubu goes, there might likely be a tug of war between the Tinubu boys and the Buhari boys. That is where the country will now redefine itself again.
Yeah, no, that's just wishful thinking. That's just hoping against hope. You are hoping against hope. If only if but maybe, and then maybe if, you know, that's just too many ifs in that.
But you know, there's one thing. If Tinubu, like I said, I expressed my fear one time, and Ajale Koko came
to flog you.
Yes. If Tinubu will not be, you know, tribalistic and allow free flow of commerce, I think that in itself is enough to change the tide.
No, I think Tinubu can make a great president because he understands commerce. He understands.
You are blowing your cover again. Are you a Tinubu man? Are you a Tinubu man?
What you were accusing me of Atiku man yesterday. Even yesterday, they were accusing me of Buhari man because I was defending Mike, where he said, you know, I only call it as I say it now.
We know that everybody is a thief in this country. Is about
one man is one of them. It's an elite.
No, I'm not. Look who is telling me that I'm an elite. Look, he's telling me the man with the posh voice is calling people an elite. Who is more elite than you? The only person more elite than Ajale Koko is Alexander Gomez. Carry on,
Yeah, one man. So you see, a Tinubu president or whoever comes in from the south will stabilize the country, because then we know that there's no excuse for us not to have peace in the south, unless whoever is fermenting trouble wants to be flogged. So I don't think even the military cannot go against Tinubu, because he's going to definitely put his own man at some point.
I think if the military have not kicked out Buhari and he finishes out his term, I don't see us ever having a military incursion again in the Nigerian state, because all of the windows for them to come in, has come and gone. So if they didn't come in under Buhari, then they cannot come in under anyone else. You cannot say because the Yoruba man is there now, you are now saying I Brigadier Mukhtar.
Like I told you, I told you this administration is in cahoots with the military, and what they want is simply power, nothing more. Because that is why they do some of the things they do against, for instance, the southeast. They cannot do it without the help and the support of the military behind them. The government cannot make such statements as the president made the other time about the tiny dots, without knowing fully well that the military is savior.
All right, thank you, Xero.
The military is different from the government. They are one and the same.
All right, thank you, Xero. We've enjoyed it, although we struggled for the most part to hear you, because obviously we know you're at work. So thank you for making.
I will go out now and then coming back with my phone. So
all right, brilliant. Do that. So as you're doing that, let's go on to Ajale Koko. But before we go on to Ajale Koko, let's acknowledge Alexander's super chat. Alexander, of course, the man with the exclusive rights to the super chat. I can boldly state here unequivocally that no ethnic group in Nigeria networks better than the Yorubas. It is just something in the DNA of the people. So thank you for the super chat, Alexander. And that is exactly it. We saw Abiola play it out. You saw how Abiola was struggling with that his hat that he wore high, because he wanted to brand himself differently from Awo. The only person that did not really play the politics of schmoozing was Awo, because he was too left-wing. He was too much of a Marxist. But generally, we saw it with Abiola now. We're seeing it with Tinubu now. We saw it even with Obasanjo, who already had a guarantee. So nobody knows how to network more like a Yoruba person, because they will come. The Yoruba person will come, and we saw it with Fani Kayode when they will go to the East, and they will wear their red hat and they will start to dance with them, and then say all these things that they like to do. Nobody knows how to network that. Or Ajale Koko, what are you making of Alexander super chat?
Awolowo network better as well. It did everything it could.
Do you think it was a little bit aloof? Was it a little bit aloof, a little bit too academic, a little bit too socialist?
Well, he was a very brilliant man, a man with full of
and two principles.
Yeah, his principle is whatever he believes in. For example, free education. There's nothing you can tell Awolowo to change his heart on free education. It's not going to agree, because he believes that education is the panacea to all problems in life. He believes that if somebody have education, he have the key to success in life, the key to achieve whatever I want to achieve in life. So that is our law. So his principle is based on, doing good thing for the people, and not to, to suppress the people. So that is what Awolowo stood for when he was alive. So Awolowo did everything as well. He networked with the North. As a matter of fact, even with the Igbo, only the Azikwe that, you know, Azikwe, for one reason or the other, did not work with Awolowo. Awolowo make all the effort for them to work together as a team for better Nigeria. Azikwe did not work with him. The same, I mean, we have some people in the North. Aminu Kano, Waziri Ibrahim, all of them form an alliance with Awolowo because they are progressive. They have progressive ideology that align well with Awolowo ideology. So, in 1978, yeah.
You see those ones you mentioned, they are typical Hausa people. They are the real the Hausa people. They are progressive, as you said.
Yeah. Yes, those ones are progressive, and they try to form alliance with Awolowo.
But that is not an alliance now when they are already like-minded. So it's pretty much standing side by side with blood relatives. What he needed to do was to reach to people who are ideologically opposed or different from him. And did he do enough of that, or was it a bit too, you know, principled? He will want to see it, but aloof, really.
No, those people that are ideologically different to Awolowo does not want to work with Awolowo at all. That is the problem. They didn't want to work because they knew Awolowo is an anti-corruption man. Awolowo is a man that stood for better life, better government, and protection of the minority across the country, irrespective of where minority come from, whether you are Hausa or Igbo or South. He always fight for the right of the minority. So the conservative from the North couldn't work with him because of that his ideology. So the progressive, like you said, the Aminu Kano and the rest that like good things for their people, yes, align with him. They agree to work with him. When Shagari could not win the electoral requirement to form the government, and Awolowo with others, with Azikwe, agreed that they're going to form alliance. And that alliance will have defeated Shagari. But Azikwe, at the end, broke out from that alliance and went to join Shagari to form the government. So it was, I mean, Awolowo was not anti-North. As a matter of fact, he did everything. He was taking food, he was taking material, he was taking everything to the North so that places that they'd never seen clothes before, places that they'd never seen any good thing before, he took material to all those places so that people can see good thing and can live like human beings. So, but the conservative from the North that doesn't like education for their people because they only want education for their own children and their cohort, and not to, you know, massively educate their population, work very hard to make sure that they didn't let him penetrate, you know, their population. And the result of not educating their people is what we are seeing today. Banditry everywhere, unemployed populace. You know, so Awolowo tried everything when he was alive to work with everybody so that we can have a better nation. But like I said, Azikwe, for one reason or the other, made it impossible.
Are you narrowing all the problems?
And Azikwe is the problem. He was the problem. He was the one that, you know.
Are you essentially saying that Azikiwe is the cause of the problems that we're having today?
Is the cause of the problem we are having today, and particularly the marginalization of Igbo people. He was the one. I have said before, in the First Republic, his party was leading. Awolowo was second. The
why do you think he betrayed Awo? Why do you think Zik betrayed Awo?
From the distant, I mean, from the first position in election result, and you yielded the head of government to the distant stud. That was the beginning of marginalization of Igbo. He marginalized the interests of Igbo from the day one.
Why do you think he did it?
Well, history tells us that when he was governing the eastern space, he was corrupt. He stole some money, and the British, you know, got that record and showed it to him that, hey, we are going to put you on trial, except you work, you do this.
Yeah. Did he not loot some bank and wrecked it via bank loan?
That's what happened. So,
Angelico, can I come in here? You see, if you look at Azikiwe based on history, he refused quite all right to work with Awolowo. He refused because he was on the basis of national unity, where Awolowo was a progressive. And let me just say, Awolowo wanted federalism, you know, regionalism. That was what Awolowo wanted in order to develop their space. Everybody develop your space. But Azikiwe was fighting for national. He was just being nationalistic. And for the corruption they talk about, he didn't loot the Association of Workers what union as at that time. He borrowed money from there. He borrowed so much money that he could not pay. He borrowed money from that he could not pay. And when the British, he couldn't pay. So when the British turned that in towards him, he can only play along. Otherwise, he will be prosecuted for borrowing and refusing to pay. So he did not loot. He borrowed money to run his campaign as at that time. That was
nothing. It was illegal.
All right, hold on, Vin.
Illegal.
Hold on, Vin. This is Cambridge. This is Cambridge, a publication by Cambridge University. Go and read it. It tells you just.
I read it before.
Yeah, so that's from Cambridge.
I read it before. He was forced to play along. His hands were tied. His hands were. It's just like you now. I would encourage you to do. But at the time, no, you want something, then I will present those things to you that you could not. He wanted to avoid paying those, you know, the loans he took. He didn't loot. That time you can't. It is not easy for you to loot money at that time and go scot-free. He borrowed the money to finance
if you take money and you don't pay it back and then you smash.
Of course, yes, of course, but it's not looting. He borrowed money, but he refuses to pay. And the interest on it was too much for him to pay, and there was no money for him to pay. You know, that was the reason.
The pro-Nigeria are not the boss for that, Abi.
Let me tell you,
go ahead.
Vin, you see that money, it was illegal to take money to fund campaign. That time it was illegal. So it's as good as describe it as, you know, stealing the money. They stole the money. And that is why they couldn't pay back. They thought they're going to get away with it. The intention was to, you know, one way or the other, take money out of that bank and, you know, spend it for campaign and, you know, it will end there. There's no way to pay it back. So he committed an offense and they got him and they dictated to him, this is what you have to do. But he didn't look at the larger interests of the Igbo nation, Igbo people. He was looking at his own personal interest, and that is where he marginalized the Igbo interest from day one. He marginalized their interest. by yielding to number 3rd position from number 1. He should have agreed. He should have said, okay, let me go and face the trial. Let another person take the job. And let's work with Yoruba people. Let's work with Awolowo, because Awolowo offer him position of prime minister.
It could have been a better thing, my brother.
Another person should have stepped into that shoe. Awolowo wanted to be the commissioner of finance, and for Igbo, for the MCMC to be the prime ministership. And that doesn't mean that the interest of the Hausa will be truncated. But how dare you that have the majority vote, they want to succumb to the minority vote, allow the minority to have the biggest position in government? You know, that was the beginning of the problem. So it planted that seed of marginalization, and that was the problem. That was where the problem of Igbo people started in that country.
All right.
And he repeated the same thing in Second Republic. He repeated it again.
Let me post it. Let me post this article which expands on that space that Ajanle Koko is just explaining to us. This one, I think it was actually written even by an Igbo man. So this is not even a prejudice. Let me see who wrote it. So it's not even a prejudiced view. This is just a cold fact-based historical account. Yes, Douglas Anele. So he wrote that. So go have a read of that, and then that expands more on that space that Ajanle Koko was speaking to. So Ajanle Koko, let me take you to today's talking points, and Sowore wins again. It looks as though Sowore is going.
But please, one man, please, before you go, let me just tell Ajanle Koko something. Ajanle Koko, you seem to delve too much on Nnamdi Azikiwe's past, while you forget the past of Ojukwu himself. If you say Nnamdi Azikiwe was for one Nigeria, what was Ojukwu for when he released Awolowo? These are two different icons in Igbo land.
No. Ojukwu did not release Awolowo.
Look at
it
this
was
guy.
the one that released Awolowo. Ojukwu did not release Awolowo. It's not Ojukwu that
maybe my facts were incorrect, but there was an agreement between Awolowo and Ojukwu.
It was Nnamdi Azikiwe and Tafawa Balewa that jailed Awolowo, because Awolowo was pulling a very strong opposition against their corrupt government. And because of that, they gang up together that let us smash this guy, let us send him to like 10 years. By the time he spent 10 years in jail, his political
career will be over.
Will have been gone, and he won't have no base by the time he come back up. You see what we have done to each other. So it was after then.
Oh, really? What Zeke has done to us?
Yes, that man is the most treacherous man in the history of that country. It destroyed the interest of the southern space in entirety.
Ajanle Koko, I want to help you. See, you see, if you look at any progressive Igbo man, he will not.
And they feeded Igbo people with wrong information. They planted seed of hatred into the heart of Igbo people.
Hold on, which still continues to germinate till today? Vin, hold on.
Of course, my brother. See, I want to add. I want to add what Ajanle Koko is saying. Look, let me tell you. See, when you look at me, when I read most of those reports, even in the military archive, when I go through them, and I used to be, you know, a fan of that man. Let my may so rest in peace wherever he is. You see, when I begin to read most of the things he did, that Igbos are suffering today, I become so hateful towards that man, even at death. Do you remember what he told the French government during the Civil War? Ajanle Koko.
Yes.
He told the civil government, the French government that were sympathetic to Ojukwu that time, that they should stop supporting the rebels. And those he called rebels are his brothers. Ojukwu.
Yes. Yes, he made the speech. Even when he returned to Nigeria,
I pulled it out. So I never liked that man. When I begin to read and see most of the things, I would just like him because, oh, he's an uncle. My mother's language man, then my uncle. But for what he did to Nigeria, that brought, you see, even after that, there were other avenues for these things to be corrected. After the coup now came in of 1960s, the same Uncle Hiroshi again from Umuahia also put that Decree 34. That Decree 34 is what the North is capitalizing today, and they are enjoying it. They don't want to let it go.
Oh yes, oh yes.
That's what they are enjoying. The people, they refuse. They were the people that refused one united Nigeria. But immediately they gain power with their divide and rule system. They now sit on that thing and begin to hammer every other person.
You're right. You're right.
Go ahead,
so,
sir.
The worst that that man did to us as people is more than any good that he has done at all. So he is the the root of our problem. Is the root of our problem. The root of our problem was when they colluded, him and Tafawa colluded and slammed our. That was when the Nigerian problem started. That was when the Nigerian...
Never mind the Igbos saying they would never forgive the Yorubas for Awolowo. Is it really the Yorubas that should be saying we would never forgive the Igbos, or who should be actually looking to be forgiven?
No,
who should be hold on, Vin. Okay, yeah.
You see, we, the people, does not have problem with each other. It will be wrong of us, we the Yoruba, to say, oh, we will never forgive the Igbo. Because when we are talking about...
But they keep saying they will never forgive us. But what for? We don't know. What are we seeking even forgiveness for? That you are saying?
Yes. If we are saying we never forgive the Igbo, we are talking about the entire Igbo people. Igbo people are not the problem. But the leaders of Igbo that fed Igbo people with wrong information, particularly after the Civil War, that, oh, it was Yoruba that helped these Hausa people to defeat them. They fed them with lies, they continued feeding them with that, and a lot of them did not make effort to check the fact, look at history, and know the truth. That was the problem. And that hatred, they keep on building on it from generation to generation. So, but the fact of the matter is that Azikwe particularly is the one that started marginalizing, is the one that marginalized the entire South, and particularly the Igbo. That is the truth.
He sold the Igbo. He sold the Igbo out. Exactly.
He started it then. When this man got there, Hiroshi, that one compounded the problem. And when Gowon came, the Hausa people came, they said, oh, yeah, they took advantage for what he has done, the centralization of the government, instead of keeping us in regional way. Those one, double down on it, and then created more states. Break it up into states, and that is it. That was the end of our of our independence as people. That was where we lost everything.
All right, DIKKO. Let me acknowledge Alexander's super chat that has been sitting on the screen for a while. He's really agreeing with you in a previous statement. He says, DIKKO, you just rightly identified the reason the election was rigged against UPN/Awolowo. Obasanjo almost definitely did not want to be probed by AWO. So thank you for the super chat, Alexander. I think Alexander was super chatting through that space that they often probe the preceding administration. And Obasanjo, of course, knowing the sort of character that AWO is and was, knows almost certainly that he would have probed him. But then, of course, Obasanjo hates Yoruba people anyway. We all know that.
Exactly. That's another one. That's another one, bro. Yeah. That's another bad leader, a bad military head of state. 1978-79. That's another bad military head of state that could have righted the wrongs of Aguiyi Ironsi, but he refused. He rigged the election on behalf of Shehu Shagaru. I won't want that election.
But I'm still concerned about the entrapment in these old stories, because this is history as read as contributed by our own identity here. But we don't know, we are not including right now the Sowore generation. What is our stand right now? What is our stand? Are we going to let this history keep dividing us? What is our stand, Where do we stand? Because right now, we are not only suffering, if we were just saying we are only not having power, it's okay. But our lives are at stake. Our lives are at stake. The Yoruba forests have been taken over. Our lives are at stake.
The Sowore generation
have been taken over. South have been taken over. Honestly, yes. They are coming in swarms.
Yes. The Sowore generation is a real disappointment, because the time period will pass them by. So it's only the generation that will come after the Sowore generation really that will be of any relevance, because we've already seen the narrative of the Sowore generation. Excuse me. We've already seen the narrative of the Sowore generation, and it's not really amounted to much, because they've been in space for long enough for us to see something, but we've seen nothing. They will say NSAS. It's just like a flash in the pan, something.
Don't forget that.
They will just pass through this all. So they are just noisemakers. That's just all they are.
You cannot face the bullet with flatter. Something
you cannot. But they say the pen is mightier than the sword. So apply some brain thinking to bypass those bullets and get your way.
So the Sowore generation, you have it in their head that, look, the West, the entire South have a responsibility. We have to see ourselves as one brother. We have to work together if we still want to remain in this Nigeria. If we don't work together, forget about it. If we are pursuing our different political interests, Igbo is pursuing their own political interests, and they are they want to be number one above Yoruba, and Yoruba are doing the same too. They want to be number one above Igbo. We don't.
Mike is a good example. Our Mike is at the heart of that Sowore generation, and yes. I don't think there's anybody on this platform that despises Igbo people more than Mike. He cannot bear them, and they cannot mainly bear Yoruba people. So it tells you that there's nothing happening in that space.
Yeah.
Which Mike are you talking about? You mean the one that
that is always coming here to discipline you. Yeah? The one that is always coming here to beat you up.
So, if the Sowore doesn't see themselves as one entity, and I think the Sowore demonstrated that they are one, because the NSAS, it was linked by Yoruba alone to by Igbo, by all the Sowore.
Yeah, but that was a Lagos space. Now Lagos is not really, Lagos now.
It will have spread if this government had allowed these people, they didn't crush them, didn't use the military. It was spreading now. The Sowore was spreading. You had the NSAS in Oyo, we had it in, it is the young people. The young people doesn't look at it like,
Yeah, but I'm citing Mike as an example. Mike is what, late 20s, early 30s.
He's just one of those extremists. Just as we have some extremists among the Igbos too. So he's one of the extremists among the Yorubas, thinking that, Igbo, don't trust Igbo on anything.
I thought he was from Niger Delta.
No, it's not from. I think he's a Yoruba man. Yeah.
It's just one of the extremist Yorubas that feel that Igbos are no to Igbo. So the Sorosokes, if they are given that chance, if our nation allow the Sorosoke to network with each other across, I think they can do wonder, but you will not see it happen. They will rather use military to kill them and suppress them in this useless nation. I mean, useless country you call a country. This is not a country of future for the Sorosoke. This country have no future for the Sorosoke, but rather destroy, mortgage their future and destroy their future today. So that is why somebody like me and some others are saying the only way that you Sorosoke have, the only thing that you have, the only solution you have is to support the Yoruba nation, support Igbo nation. Once we get our own nation, we can work together.
But the Sorosokes, they are essentially one Nigerianist.
Sorosoke, you make much noise, you don't have action.
But they are one Nigerianist, though.
You don't want to vote for the right candidate. If you believe in Nigeria, you don't want to vote for your right. I think Sowore has been coming out that you want to fight for your own interest, for your future. You don't want to vote for him. Yoruba Nation come out. You don't want to support Yoruba Nation. What do you Sorosoke want?
Ajale Koko, just from what we are getting from that space, the Sorosokes, they are one Nigerianist. Not only are they one Nigerianist, even a lot of them are Pan-Africanist. We heard Black League say it just the other day, and I think we've heard Mike say it as well, and Ovie, etc., etc. So they are one Nigerianist and even Pan-Africanist. So rather than narrow to Yoruba Nation, they want one Nigeria and one Africa. This is what they want.
That tells me that they don't understand the problem. No, how can you say you want a Pan-Africanist? How do you want to unite Africa? When Nigeria
cannot work.
It's difficult to unite Nigeria. You want to unite the whole of Africa. Does that make sense?
No.
Africa with 1 billion population, with thousands of tribes, thousands of languages. I mean, how is that possible? Is that possible? It doesn't make sense.
It's never. It's a mirage. It's a mirage, my brother.
I mean, it's not going to be possible. Never, never. God created us differently in a different place with different culture, different tradition, different languages, and you said you want to unite. How is it possible? It's not possible now. Those ones saying Nigerians, go and look at them. You will see they are minority. Go and look at their tribe. Those people championing for one Nigeria. You will see among us, they are minority that feel threatened about us that are majority in the southern space, thinking that it is good for them to remain in Nigeria so that all of us can continue to suffer together. Because if we have our different nation, like Igbo nation, or we have Yoruba nation, those minority among us feel, oh, these people will now become the Lord over us. They are threatened by our minority, I mean our majority strength in the South. That's why they clamoring for one Nigeria. It is better for us to remain together so we can keep on suffering together. But you know, that is the problem. Go and look at them. Person like Ovie, because it's a minority.
No. One man. Let me interject about the Pan-Africanist statement that Ajale Koko made.
So, Mike, what do you want? Are you a Yorubaist, a Nigerianist, or a Pan-Africanist? Because I called you a Pan-Africanist.
I'm a Pan-Africanist first.
Yes, you've said that.
And then I'm a Yorubaist second, and then Nigerian third. That's where I stand. You understand? One man, Ajale Koko just made a statement. I made me call him. He said,
really
Pan-Africanism is impossible. How can you unite the Africa? What you guys need to understand is this generation of Africans, the way they reason is completely different from the way you the whole generation reason. When you guys were growing up, you guys knew nothing about Africa. All you guys knew was just your tribe. That's it. And then a little bit about your country.
You understand? This generation of Africans, we are very globally conscious. You understand? We're well traveled. In fact, we are more conscious of history, how transatlantic slave trade, all these things. We are very exposed. You understand? And we understand the things we are facing globally, the imperialism, how the continent is so rich and is feeding the rest of the world. Young African, this present day African understand that, and they understand that many of them are very Kwame Nkrumah conscious. They are exposed. If you go on the internet and if you ask any young Africans today who is Kwame Nkrumah, they know. But if you ask people who are Ajalico generation about all this revolution, they don't know. Many of them grew up more in a village and they're just tribal. You understand? So this present day generation of Africans, young Africans, they are more interested in Pan-Africanism. They want a continent that's liberated from the rest of the world.
No. That's idealistic.
We are very connected, especially through the internet. Even African American, the diaspora.
Yes, is Mike aware of what he's saying?
Can you hold on? That's very idealistic what you've just said, Mike. It's idealistic. It's a romantic notion that is not vested in practicality. Do you know the composition of the African continent? You have North Africa, who has sort of Arabic-like nature.
I'm not talking about the Arab Africa. I'm talking about the Sub-Saharan Africa.
You are talking about Sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
So then, within that Sub-Saharan Africa, do you know the sort of... and by the way, Sub-Saharan Africa is not Black Africa. So is that to the exemption of East Africans?
East Africans are blacks, man. What are you talking about, man? What are they?
If you are saying West Africa, are you saying West Africa?
No, just Black Africa? The Black Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, blacks in general. We are very conscious of global.
You know, within that Black Africa is subdivided into sub-ethnic groups.
And these young generation of Africans are less interested in this tribal rubbish, man. They are more connected. They are more
You don't think
they are less tribal. I'm telling you, these young generation of Africans. Look. Wait, one man. An average, if you go around, listen.
I want to tell
whatever you are smoking.
You are talking about if you go to where do you go in Africa? What are they listening to? I don't know. Is it Afrobeat that's all over the place? The young Africans.
Is that Afrobeat that you are going to?
Their parents are not interested. Their parents are more listening to tribal music. But if you go all around Africa, the young Africans today, they are
even ordinary business, they are locking people.
It's the whole generation. When you hang around blacks, it's the old generation. They are very tribal. They stick to their tribal men. Everything they talk about is circle around their little tribal politics. Young Africans today, they are very globally conscious. You understand?
Let me put a question to you, Mike.
I also want to put a question.
Yeah, if you have this Black Africa convergence that you are talking about, even that you concede has to have some form of rulership. So who rules it?
It's not about rulership at this point. I'm talking about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism, listen. Yeah. You are talking about becoming one country and things like that. I'm talking about, my point is Pan-Africanism. Point is Pan-Africanism. You understand? The concept of Pan-Africanism is basically the global blacks coming together for common interest of as collective, kind of like Pan-Europeanism. That's how Europe became.
Yeah, but that has always been the case. There's always been a collective interest.
The reason you as far as seeing each other, seeing that collective interest, putting our collective interest above just our own small tribal ethnic interest. You understand? Like
there's always been a collective interest, because the collective interest is the interest that you are being weighed upon, and these are the people weighing upon you. So there's always been a collective pushback against imperialism. Always from
there's never been always. No. What you always have in Africa? No.
What do you mean?
What you always have in Africa is one individual. Listen now. What you've always done in Africa is one individual.
You know when Pan-Africanism started? Pan-Africanism started, even predated Kenyatta and Nkrumah and all this name.
In fact, they started in the diaspora.
Zik of Africa.
No. Pan-Africanism. Do you know that the Zik of Africa, all of them, they became Pan-Africanists in the diaspora when they went to school in America.
Yeah, so
people that became conscious, people like the Fellas, they had to travel outside of Africa to become
a Pan-Africanist.
Who?
Fela.
Yeah, Fela, Zeke, all these people, even Kwame Nkrumah, they had to go to US, get exposed to what being a black man is about. You understand? Before they became Pan-Africanists. And then when they came back to Africa, one man.
You said it first. They did not have to go to America to what happened was
no, that's where they got conscious. That's where they became.
Yes, that was where the consciousness took root, because that was where the convergence of young, vibrant, radical Africans that were vibrant and radical within their own locality then came together to find that their situations was mirrored all over this African space, and that also birthed it. So they already had it in them. So but,
no. On the continent, they didn't have it in them. No. It was when they traveled out that they became conscious of what really a black man is about in a global state. You understand? Because then when they came back, they found it extremely difficult to convert the rest of the minds of the Africans to understand.
Do you know, Mike? Do you know what pushes?
That's why they failed back then. You understand? Because they couldn't get followership.
Mike, give me just 1 minute. There's something I would like. Do you know why Kwame Nkrumah started Kwame Nkrumah started, saw what Malami'S and in the line of Marcus Garvey and the rest of them, that was what he saw.
That's what I'm saying. He saw it in the West. He didn't see it in Ghana. He saw it when he went to school in America. Hold
on. In fact, based on facts, it was Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nnamdi Azikiwe was a police officer in Ghana here those days. He had a pilot newspaper here that made him get in close contact with Kwame Nkrumah.
It was in U.S. that they linked up. It was in U.S. They both went to school in U.S.
It wasn't. They
both went to school in America. That's where they linked. That's where they became.
Before they went, listen now. I'm telling you what we have here. I'm not telling you what you have over there.
They both went to school in the U.S. That's when the guy is exposed to the whole black pressure going on in America.
Kwame Nkrumah went to school in the U.S. Kwame Nkrumah wanted to go to UK. It was Nnamdi Azikiwe that told him to know, if you want to get, the real culture and to fight this, racism that is going on, the marginalization of the black, man, average black man, you have to go to the U.S. That was what Nnamdi Azikiwe told him before this man went in. He was not having anything. He's from an eastern region here. So he went there, and when he got there, he now began to interact with other Africanists over there, like Malcolm X and the rest of them, before this Pan-Africanism started.
No. The Pan-Africanism was what was the thing of that was going on in the U.S. and in fact, it was the Caribbean. In fact, it was the Caribbean and the U.S. that the open Africanism was going on. It was when Kwame Nkrumah and Azikiwe went to school in the U.S. that they got exposed to the open Africanism ideology. And then when they brought it back
Azikiwe did not go to school with late Kwame Nkrumah.
Azikiwe didn't. First of all, Azikiwe didn't have the whole Pan-Africanism in mind when he was growing up in Africa. Neither of them. It was when they went abroad that they got exposed. Most of the Pan-Africanists in Africa back then, it was when they went to abroad, especially the US, UK, that they got exposed. Even Fela Kuti, Fela didn't know anything about Pan-Africanism until he went to the US. That is, it got exposed to it and he came back. But that generation.
Did Fela not go to Imperial College? My memory is that
he went to school in UK as an elite kids now, one of the rich people. He didn't go, he wasn't really exposed to. He saw racism and everything like that. But the consciousness of black movement was when he went to the US.
He went where?
When he visited US.
School of Music.
Yeah, no, I think he started off at Imperial College. They sent him to study medicine. And then he abandoned that for music. Yeah, that's just
ironically, Fela didn't become Pan-Africanist when he was in school in UK.
Talk on this platform now.
All right, let's hear from Black League, who wants to do like a.
But the point, the point I'm really trying to make is this generation we are more exposed to that knowledge and things like that. So we see bigger picture than beyond our ethnic. How
would you know that you are more anyway? You are just going to.
Well, you just need to hang around young people, man. The way they talk is different.
Who wants to do like a Sarosoke alliance with Mike?
Yeah,
this is not Sarosoke. I don't know whether I'm audible because my Wi-Fi is not working.
Social media, they think they know better than
everybody.
They go to talk nonsense.
You old people, man, you guys will let the young ones take over Africa. Our mind is different because your ethnic interest cannot liberate you. You have the whole continent to be liberated for any ethnic group to be liberated in Africa.
You cannot even organize yourself to go and vote for right candidate in Nigeria, and you are saying you know better than us.
Solution is not election, man. Solution is the mind of the people to
You
use.
could vote for the
People
right
like
candidate.
Mike.
You can vote for Jesus Christ or Messiah. You're still gonna have your problem. Everybody's
one at a time. Yeah.
Criminals in power will give you 5,000 now. You will run after them and go
And
and
then
vote for them.
okay,
And
look
you
at
will
that.
say you know better
Don't
than
mind
us.
them. Oh, don't mind them.
oh,
Yeah,
I beg, make una go sleep. You don't
The people collecting that 5 naira, now your generation, all those market men and women, that generation, they are the one collecting 5 naira in the market.
only know about following women online and
Those market men and women, I gotta go generation.
on social media.
They will be in the market collecting 5 naira. They will land up in
Gentlemen, can you hold on, everyone, please? Let's hear from Black League, who wants to do a Sorosoke. Who wants to do a Sorosoke alliance with Mike? So do your Sorosoke alliance.
One man, this not Sorosoke alliance. I don't know whether you can hear me clearly.
We can.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear
you. Yeah, this is not Sorosoke, but I actually agree with Mike. But where I don't agree with him is him going at the older generation, because we need everybody in this. It's kind of like a struggle. Africa cannot develop without Africa being one. If development were to come, we would have at least seen signs of it since 1950s to 60s to 70s when African countries got independent. But instead, we've seen a regression to an extent where Africans are now clamoring for the colonial regime to come back. That's terrible. Kwame Nkrumah made a proposition to the OAU saying Africa had to become one in order for us to compete globally. And the OAU chose not to go with that proposition by Nkrumah. And if you look at the situation, that's exactly why we're in the situation we're in now. To the extent that in Africa now, what's fashionable is for military governments to start coming back. There's no way we can interact with the world when we are divided into 54 to 55 countries. Some of our countries have the same population as the military of the countries we're interacting with. How can Ghana interact properly with a country like Russia? It's not going to be balanced. How can Nigeria interact properly with a country like United States? It's not going to be balanced. But if Africa comes together as a one country, we would have more resources than all the continents. And Africa, as we know it today,
one country.
Oh, I said it, one country. I'll say it again. One country, not two.
Who rules that country? Who rules that country?
Well, the new Africa.
I would say one union, one solid union.
Let me answer.
No, let me put it to you as I'm thinking it. Will the Egyptian let the Yoruba man have dominion over, have rulership over him? Is that what you're suggesting?
Matter of fact, the Yoruba man has more rights over the Egyptian in the new Africa we're looking at. We would have no business with rulership. So there's no question like who will rule. It will be African leadership, not rulership. That's the way. That's the roadmap. That's the roadmap to development of Africa. If Africa doesn't come together as one, this is how we will.
We have gone away from what we've come here to do today.
Sorry.
I'm telling you this because all these problems we're having is because we do not have a united Africa. That's why there's clamor.
Forget about United Africa. How can you get united?
Okay, Ajale Koko. Let me respond to you. Let me respond to you.
But you people are not.
Let me respond to you.
Respond to this also as you're responding to that. Can Ghana interact properly with for example Lithuania, as small as it is? If you're talking about population, can they interact properly with Luxembourg?
And CBD, if you listen carefully, I wasn't just referring to population.
No,
population, economy, resources, military strength.
Yeah,
Those are the key. Go ahead.
And that's just a question. Then also, Kwame Nkrumah, we know what the problem is, that you people are not even making the Pan-African, you're not even defining whatever they call Pan-Africanism. Like for you now, you've said one country.
You see, it is simple, man. You can look at pan-Europeanism, look at NATO, Europe.
Really, it's simple.
Military is really. They have one military. The Western Europe, they have one military. NATO. You guys already the blueprint is already there in Europe. I don't know why you guys.
They have NATO, but we have ECOMOG.
Wrong with
we have ECOMOG. It's a regional force
that put together by imperialists,
which are participated in.
Forget that one, man. Listen, they hijack the Westerners. They hijack
NATO is not for Atlantic Treaty Organization.
You allow imperialists to hijack it. They have hijacked it, man. You don't control nothing right now, man.
We have all those systems in place in Africa.
You don't. The African Union is being funded by EU, by Europe. What you have right now is a fake African Union. You don't have the authentic one. The original one was the one America created, but they've hijacked it. You have old generation leaders that don't know anything about Pan-Africanism. They are ruling.
Mike, let me add to that. Let me give you something very practical.
Organize yourself first. You people should go and organize yourself first.
Well, we can't organize ourselves, but we have old generation like you guys now. They are busy coming here blaming tribe, man. They blame Fulani for your problems. You blame one tribe for your problems.
Hold on. You constitute the mass, especially within the Nigerian space. You are 70% of the population. So what's holding you back?
Well, you guys control the guns now. Ajani Koko's generation. They control the guns.
Hold on. No, you
can't. If we speak now, they come and shoot us. Look what happened in Lekki now.
Hold on. You can't get away with that. In whose hands are those guns? Is it Buhari that is carrying his AK-47?
The man that commands the gun is the one that owns the gun.
The commander that carries the gun is the one that does the shooting.
So you're saying every Nigerian youth have guns? Is that what you're saying?
No,
are you talking about Nigerian army?
I'm saying the Nigerian army.
So Nigerian army. So you're saying the mutiny is what you're saying?
Are they no youths?
So they should. What are you talking about, one man? You know how military works now.
Talking about.
So you're saying the
population, and you are saying.
Let me chip in something for just a minute.
Yeah,
one man. I don't think, yes, the youth are the majority. I think up to 75% of Nigeria's population is under the age of 45. So we understand that the youth are the majority, but it shouldn't be the youth versus the older generation. No country has ever progressed with that notion as youth versus. Yeah, I can hear that.
No, I'm saying to Mike, is he hearing you? But carry on.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the chicken.
Yeah.
So
that's our vein.
So we can see an example with China. Before China progressed to develop into what it is today, it took the young people in China partnering with the wisdom of the older generation before China can produce what it's producing today. Because you need the strength of the old with the strength of the young with the wisdom of the old. That's how every nation progresses. Once there's that disaffection, or once there's distrust or lack of synergy between those two groups, you can forget having a nation. So my goal is actually to get this message to the older generation, because we need their wisdom. They've seen it all, more than we have. But what we know for a fact, even in their generation, while they were young, these issues came up. But a mistake was made, and we were not as united as we should have been. And the same problem is happening right now. What is the way out? Because right now, there's no single African country. Yes, we have some doing good, but they're not doing good like they should be doing. Countries like Rwanda, countries like Ghana should be way ahead of where they are right now. But why we are praising them is that they are doing better than us. That's why we are praising them. But in all honesty, Ajani Koko said a point that I actually thought about. I think it was 2 days ago This Pan-Africanist thing came up, and he said, forget about Pan-Africanist agenda. There have been several people who brought it up. What happened to them? Look at Gaddafi in Libya, suggested the same thing. What happened to him? Look at Nkrumah. What happened to Nkrumah? And so on and so forth. But I think that's a defeatist mindset. We should look at the message they brought, not what happened to them. It's our job to improve on the methodology, how to go about actualizing what the message is, not what happened to them. Because if we say what happened to them, then everybody would be scared away. More of like a cowardly move not to progress. I think it's a defeatist mindset, because we have an example right here in Nigeria with what Awolowo did in the Western region. You can as well add him and say, what happened to him? He never got to become president and all that. And his political career was squashed at some point. He was sent to jail unfairly and all that. So if you say, look at what happened to him, no other Awolowo will come up, because everyone would have this defeatist mindset. Oh, the person who almost got there got cut short, so we should all be scared away from achieving that, or let's not look at the message they actually brought. The same with Fela, and the same with a lot of other African leaders around the world. All of them knew that the way forward was to come with one Africa. That way we control the resources of the world. The World Trade Organization took our, I'll say our daughter, Ngozi Iweala, as their leader. But what's the World Trade Center? Let me just conclude this point on the World Trade Center.
Hold on.
Not the World Trade Center, the World Trade Organization, WTO, World Trade Organization. Yes. So they have this policy that only the first world countries can have industries, can be industrialized. The third world countries, they're the ones who classified the world into that and said the third world countries, Africa being the main stage of the third world countries, although they have the resources, they could not be industrialized, saying we don't have the capacity. But then proposing something that makes zero business logic, saying you have to transport raw materials overseas to be processed and then transport them back to the same people to buy it. That's what's happening in virtually every sector in Africa. We have the crude oil, but there are laws inhibiting us from actually industrializing and employing our people to refine these products, that we now have to send it to other countries that don't have the resources, just for them to in turn refine it and send it back to us, for us to buy it at top dollar. That way our foreign exchange is non-existent completely. And then all of us are suffering. We're wondering why we're suffering. We keep blaming village people, this and that. We are backward. No, we are not backward. We just got it wrong, and we're too scared to go attempt again to get it right.
All right. Thank you, Black League. Ajale Koko, make that comment quickly, and then I'll start to wrap it up. I want to land it on the 2-hour mark. Yeah.
Let me tell you, Black League and Mike, I am not opposed to one Africa or Pan-Africanist idea or ideology. But what I'm opposed to, my position is that it is unrealizable. There's no way we can realize it. There's no way we can achieve it. And that was why I said in my statement 2 days ago, referring us to Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, all his efforts to unite the Arab world. It was impossible, because the way the people in the Persian, the way the Gulf region, the way they reason is different from the way the African Arab reason. They don't see things the same way. The same reason why I mentioned Kwame Nkrumah's effort to unite Africa, it was impossible because the African leaders then couldn't see themselves as one people. They speak one language, different culture, different tradition. It is not possible. There's no way
Nkrumah was ahead of his
Hold
generation.
on, Mike. Yeah.
It is not possible. It's a big dream that cannot be achieved.
It's idealistic but not realistic.
Yes, it's a big idea that, yes, if we look at it, yes, it is good for, but how can we achieve it?
It's just romantic notions. Yeah.
And let me jump in.
The first step, hold on. The first step for us as African nation, different African nations, the first step for us to achieve is to develop our individual space. Let Nigeria develop Nigeria. Let Ghana develop Ghana. And once that is achieved across Africa, then we can start thinking of, okay, let us work together on military. Let us work together on scientific approach. You know, but when you don't develop yourself well, how do you want to come together as one power? It's not possible. You have to develop your power first before you merge with others to form a common front. That's my position.
All right, thank you, Ajanle Koko. So I'm going to start to seek to wrap it up, and usually I just shut it down here. But because so many people have not had the chance to say much, I'm going to wrap it up in about 7 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to do a rapid round robin for everybody to just have a quick say on what they want to say. But before I do that, let me just add this just to the topic that is being spoken to now. That Pan-Africanism is, like I said, idealistic but not realistic. It is not something that has ever happened anywhere in the world, ever. So if they
what do you mean?
Africa, where have they had Pan-Africanism in the world?
But now,
how do you explain Pan-Europeanism? How do Europeans do it?
That's a
isn't it where the Marcus Garvey and them got even got the
don't worry about all that. The European Union.
That's the reason Europe is ahead of everybody, is because of the Pan-Europeanism.
Hold on, Mike. The European Union is nothing but an economic vehicle. Within that, the French are still presenting their interests as French people. The Germans, the British pulled out.
And who tells you that when Pan-Africanism will mean that Nigeria will no longer have their own vested interest and things like that?
But they have the African Union
when you are talking
already.
about
they have the African Union already.
Look at Pan-Europeanism. Listen, European nations came together. Part of it was the Berlin Conference. They came together and said, listen, we have to look at ourselves as Europeans against the rest of the world. You understand?
Yes, but
as
hold on.
And the moment they came together to start to see themselves as...
We all know all that. Hold on, Mike, because I want to try and shut it down. But you're not speaking to any... There's no new paradigm being introduced without now this new narrative of Pan-Africanism, which is not a new narrative, but it's a 70, 80-year-old narrative that has just been rebutted and rebranded.
It's never been practiced.
It's never been practiced. Look, all of these things, the shells of the structures of these things are already in place. You have the ECOWAS, you have the African Union, you have the Northern, whatever it is that they have in North Africa. So you have all of this. All you are saying essentially is a power blocks. This is what the Pan-Africanism means, a power block.
Do you know that Francophone countries in Africa today put the interest of France ahead of interest of any other African countries next to them? You know that, right?
I don't know.
Your neighbor, Benin and Togo.
Yeah.
France come before Nigeria to them.
No,
right?
No.
So the ECOWAS, the AU, all these things. If you go and look at the structure, you find out that these organizations are funded by
you are buttressing our point.
What I'm saying is we don't currently practice Pan-Africanism. That's what I'm saying. It's because of the generation that's in charge.
It's not in reality.
The only way it can come to reality is when the mind.
Just a wishful thinking.
Let me get my point.
We know what you're saying.
You don't know what I'm saying. Let me land.
You're saying there has to be a mind shift to that space.
The generation, they have to come that generation that understands it. Understand they can actually. know the big picture. Now, the people, listen, let me land, man. Let me land. The Kwame Nkrumah time, those guys, they were ahead of their generation. They were ahead of their generation. Because when they were talking, the people of that generation, they didn't know what they were talking about. They don't know what they were not even exposed to the rest of the world.
All right.
You understand? Africa didn't even know what Caribbean people are.
All right. So we don't know
even,
what you are.
Even Nigerians themselves, they're still seeing themselves as strangers, you know, tribes. You know, that generation is different. And
Mike,
I
want to try and shut it down, and I want everybody to speak. Otherwise, I don't want to.
Okay, let me round it up with this last statement. But this young generation, this millennial, they are very exposed. You understand? Especially through the internet, they are very exposed, much educated about the past, the history of Africa and everything, and what's going on, the imperialism. They are very exposed. So their mind is very ripe for Pan-Africanism. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Thank you, Mike. So let's hear from Vin. Just a very short commentary, Vin, because I don't want anybody to be too long-winded. Yeah. So just a very short commentary, and then
bro. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. You know, what I would like to say, because within my own level of traveling and my service, my military service, I have toured, you know, let me just say 98% of the whole African, you know, region. And I would tell you that this Pan-Africanism does not hold any water. It doesn't hold any water. You cannot say you want to be, one united Africa, then you need visa to travel to South Africa. You need visa to travel to Botswana. You need visa to, in fact, if you cannot develop yourself, develop your environment first before you now go out to campaign for it. Your home is, someone who his house is on fire would not even have the chance to chase rats. Develop your place. Make life comfortable for your people. Then you can go out and begin to champion.
Thank you, Vin. I must
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Vin. So from Vin, we go on to Nsebede. Just very short remarks, Nsebede.
Yes. Yeah, like exactly what they are saying. All these things, all these structures, we already have it. You know, we have some of them. African Union, ECOWAS, you go to South Africa, SADC, all that. The problem is that these things are already not working. If you're complaining that they are being infiltrated by the colonial, pre-colonial, whatever, then that means, who told you that when you have one, whatever you're trying to call it, whether it's a union or one country, who told you that can also not be infiltrated by these foreign forces? So let it work. Like, for example, if you feel like Africa is too big, ECOWAS, how is it working? Make it work. Let it expect. They should do it first from ECOWAS, then we'll see how it will, so that the whole Africa can see how it's been done there. Then they will desire something like that. So, and that's exactly what Europe is doing. And we are here talking about Pan-African. It doesn't mean you're not. The only thing is that everybody govern your space well. If you are succeeding where you are, you will not have any problem, living in peace and harmony and collaboration with other places. But when everybody is is confused, or when most people don't know what they are doing, that's where all this crisis comes into play.
All right, thank you, Nsebede. Sorry, Nsebede, that's a good place to leave it. I must just push it for time. So thank you, Nsebede. Let's go to Exero, just a very, very short and brief summation from you.
Yes, one man. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I think this Sorosuke generation is turning out to be a Baba Ijebu generation. From listening to some people speak here, I can just see where the problem is coming from. The problem is you're just concluding too quickly about issues that we don't know how they come about. Africa tried to do this. ECOWAS tried to do the ECHO. We saw how the French shut it down. We can't even unite Yoruba and Igbo. And we are talking about Pan-Africanism. So I think we should just go and sit down. We are not ready. This generation will be as the past. We will just be sleeping by, and we'll let the Europeans transfer power to their children, and they will come and rule over us. Don't forget that our current president shook hands with the current president of Canada when he was just an 8-year-old boy. Today we
all
can
right.
see him.
Oh,
Yes,
all right,
thank
thank
you
you. That's a good spot to leave it. Thank you, Xero. So, thank you, Xero. So, just as quickly as Xero, just Black League, just very short remarks.
Yeah, I disagree with you, one man, on your stance on Pan-Africanism and Pan-Africanist agenda. But that's the beauty of this show. That's why I have, much admiration and respect for your platform, is I can disagree with you here. I would just want to appeal to you to give us a session, maybe this evening or any day you choose, for us to really talk about Pan-Africanism, because I think that's the key to Africa's development. I hear Ajanle Koko when he says we need to develop our individual countries before we have a united Africa. And I'm saying, no, I disagree. I believe the solution to this development is unity of Africa. Without the unity of Africa, we will have no development. Why? We've had over 60 years to focus on development. We've failed miserably at that. There's no saying that we'll do any better in the next 60 years. The solution to that, once again, is Africa coming together. That way we have the most resources in the world and we're able to use it judiciously without any tribe or ethnicity feeling marginalized. Only the Africans have been able to do that successfully, to run a nation with different ethnic groups and be a superpower. Only the Africans have done it. And we have the ability to do it again.
All right. Thank you, Black League. We may be able to open that slot in the latter session, but a fact-based discussion I would prefer, just not,
yes, sir.
So fact-based and not emotion-led, because we do tend somewhat to be emotion-led in instances on this platform. So, but thank you. I always say, you see, people are applauding you always anytime you come in the comment section. Even the mighty Alexander Gomez, who is very stingy with his praises, he pats you on the back. So always a delight in your company, Black League. So good, thank you, Black League. So let's go to Alexander then, who joins us. Alexander, your words.
Wonderful show, extremely. This was highly charged, highly informative. The only thing I can say based on what you guys have dialogued on today is that I see this Pan-Africanism as a mirage right now. Let's develop our spaces. Let's try and take our countries to its highest achievable level, and then we can now start talking about Africanism. But right now, it's a little bit too premature to talk about it. That's the way I see it.
All right. Thank you, Alexander. Always a delight. So, Alexander, let's yield the space to Ajanle Koko to make it just at the shortest possible final words. So, Ajanle Koko, just condense it succinctly.
Yeah, I'm happy that majority of people on the platform agree with my position that the idea of Pan-Africanism is an effort in futility. It is not realizable. There is no way it can be realized if African countries are not developed. Each country in Africa have to develop first, then the greater merger for Pan-Africanism can then follow. History tells us that this European Union we're talking about and all the rest you see across the world didn't just come up in one day. They developed their country first, and for greater promotion of their continent, they now march together to form a very strong force militarily, economically, and other purposes. So that's the way to it, and not just be pursuing shadow. I wouldn't support pursuit of shadow or pursuing of efforts that will not lead to fruitful results. So thank you, one man. Thank everybody that came on the platform. Meaningful discussion this morning. afternoon session, I believe, is going to be good as well. So thank you, Woman. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Ajan Lekoko. Always a delight. So that was Ajan Lekoko rounding it off, but we leave the final word to the mighty Mr. Gomez, who supercharts to say the father of Pan-Africanism was Marcus Garvey. But what idea did he actually have in mind? Is it the idea being elucidated by Black League, or is it the concept being promoted by Ajan Lekoko? So still plenty to discuss. So make sure you're subscribed when we reconverge to press these matters even more. So we'll leave it there. Carry conversation in the comment section over here. Say peace.